Okay, so 3, 2, 1, go. So this is Super Castlevania 4. You may have known this game for its amazing soundtrack.
Hell yeah. This is one of the best soundtracks. Like on the Super Nintendo.
And it's a very early Super Nintendo game. I guess
It's like one of the first like 20 games to come out. Like it's pretty up there.
So you're gonna see, even though Simon has never skipped leg day, I will be doing a lot of damage boosting because there's no run button. He just power walks entire way through this game. So every time I take damage, it knocks me forward ever so slightly, a little bit faster.
Yeah, and along with that, almost all of your actions cause some sort of slowdown if you're standing on the ground. So most of the time, Justifin's going to be jumping to execute all of his sub-weapon attacks and his whip attacks, and using them in combination to take down huge amounts of enemies that have a lot of HP. So while the game doesn't have fast movement speed, it's so packed with dangerous enemies and obstacles that like you need to be slow in order to actually navigate some of those. And yes, stairs are still practically the final boss of the game throughout the entire game. But Simon's gotten a little better at stairs. He's also capable of diagonals now. That was a concept that eluded him for many games, but he's finally, the Belmont clan's finally picking up some modern technology here.
Yeah, there's also, new to this game, there's also a swinging mechanic, which is a little bizarre, but once you get used to it, it works.
Yeah, and that even has a few quirks to it that allow you to save a little bit of time. So you notice JD's got the cross and the triple multiplier already. This is a real important part of the speedrun, like in a lot of other classic Castlevania games. The multiplier allows you to have multiple sub-weapon instances on the screen. And the cross is basically the best weapon in the game for a lot of reasons, and being able to throw 3 at once lets you take down these bosses real fast. Nice setup there. And that was a boss.
Not the best Triforce, I'm sorry. little too.
Yeah, so your pose at the end of the stage is one of the most important things when speedrunning Castlevania.
Yeah, unlike the earlier Castlevanias, you can jump to grab that orb, so always jump to grab the orb to save a little bit of time. So this, the beginning of this stage is a little weird. There are these purple zombie hands that are just coming out of the ground right there, and if they grab me, they will hold me for a few seconds, so you want to avoid that.
It's pretty nasty RNG. Even like the first couple of pixels that you start on will have a hand sometimes.
Okay.
But yeah, the cross was present in previous Castlevania games, but in this one, it's so useful because it pierces through enemies. I think in previous iterations, it would kind of like bounce off of an enemy when it hits them, but in this one, it goes right through enemies, and it kind of tracks with the screen, so as long as you're moving, they can travel a large distance. And having 3 of them on the screen, it just kind of forms a shield of damage in front of you to take down everything.
Yeah, you'll probably notice that I'm throwing crosses like ahead of time, just to anticipate any sort of enemies that are coming at me. There's a nice little bird there that make sure I take care of, because the birds are very annoying.
They're real jerks in this one, of course. Oh yeah, and they added in the weird floppy
Free
whip.
Yeah.
The flaccid whip, as I call it. And that you saw Justin just jump over a dagger there. That's actually one of the most dangerous things in the game, is accidentally picking up other sub-weapons. Fortunately, there's no like random weapon drops in this like there are in some of the older Castlevania titles. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh, a rare Medusa petrify there.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate.
And he burned a few of his hearts there to just let that little hand despawn right away.
Yeah, if you have a lot of hearts and that hand is like draining you, it will cause a lot of lag, so you want to be at 0 once you enter this screen.
And the water current on this is kind of on a global timer that starts when you begin this part of the level, so any slowdown sort of magnifies. But you don't want to slow down at all, or else you'll have to sit with the slow cycle for a longer time. And since you get a free health refill at the end of stages, he's just gonna take damage all the way down here. And stage 2 is kind of unique in that it doesn't have a real boss, unless you count Medusa. And stage 2.
So stage 3 is where the game really, it's like one of the early stages that really ramps up the difficulty.
It's just true in the speedrun also. Some of these golems, first off, it's really important that you don't actually destroy the golems because they cause a huge amount of lag, because it spawns a bunch of smaller guys. But they're random in which directions they're moving. JD was fortunately able to pass by that first one. These guys are kind of jerks, but only 1 damage boost to pass 2. Having only taken 1 damage at this point is really nice.
Yeah,
really nice.
That was the worst pattern you can get right there. So I was able to pass through. Not too big of a deal.
You're pretty much guaranteed to take an extra hit here at the end. Nope. Oh, okay. There I am.
So a little precise jumping there, and we're through with only 1 hit, which is pretty good for stage 3, first screen.
So 3-2 is where we start to see some interesting damage boost, and our first instance of the ring, the ring glitch, as we explained earlier. Very nice, very fast setup.
So interesting mechanic with the rings. So as long as every time you hit the ring, it'll always push you away from it. So by hitting the ring from above, it will actually push me upwards. And you get like a weird little jump boost, some vertical momentum when you go upwards. So pretty interesting glitch to save time. This is a nice little boost that I missed. But,
the eyeball boost, and yeah, that was an important. That's why it's so important to save health in the cavern in 3-1, so you can handle some of the larger time-saving damage boosts. More rings, not a whole lot of useful glitching opportunity for a little bit, but the position of those mermen are pretty random and can really troll you if you stay on the screen for too long.
So it's a nice little despawn strat right here. I'm not gonna kill that dragon right there, but there's supposed to be a second dragon right where I did that ring glitch. So as long as I don't kill the first dragon, I should be fine. Unfortunately, I got a pretty bad pattern there from the Skeleton Knights, but
and you saw a nice little technique there, the whip and cross. If you whip a little bit before you cross, you can throw them both on the same, I guess, cooldown.
Right. Yep.
And it can be done repeatedly just to take down smaller enemies more quickly. Very nice.
And
Very nice.
yeah, that's the stage 3 boss, the Orphic Vipers. So long as you take care of them very quickly, you won't lose too much time, because the longer they're on the screen, the more it starts to lag. So you want to make sure you take care of that boss.
Yeah, fortunately, even though they seem very chaotic, they move in a consistent way every time. So as far as general strategy, it stays mostly the same throughout the whole game. He's just going to keep triple and keep cross throughout the entire game. It starts to change up and become a little bit more dynamic if Justin dies or accidentally picks up another weapon, and that's pretty much the biggest source of time loss. That's kind of a nasty pattern there.
Yeah.
Shout out to our buddy Pooexel. Best boss.
It's a very weird boss, the version of the Man-Eater in this game, because he just has these almonds just coming from the
Yeah.
sky for whatever reason.
You can see a little bit of the ring mechanics. Yeah, it's kind of odd. Like whenever you release the Y button, whenever you're, I guess, holding onto the ring, releasing the Y button will always push you upward. So if you're above the ring, already pretty high up, releasing Y pushes you even higher. I guess the game designers didn't really intend for you to swing above the ring. This is a nice little pose here.
Yeah, this section can be very confusing the first time you go through it because you're not really sure what you're supposed to be looking for, how to exit the screen. But so long as you just crouch there, you won't be hit by any of those Medusa heads.
It's really dangerous to mess with those guys, because if you die here, you spawn, you have to wait for the entire cycle over again. That's always scary.
Yeah,
It
it's
never
pretty-
looks like it's gonna work. This screen, I guess I blame the mode 7, but killing any of these skeletons causes a massive amount of lag. Slowing down at all in this section will start to make extra skeletons appear, so you really want to avoid damaging anything and slowing down.
Yeah, try not to take too much damage because I want to attempt to do a glitch in the following screen, and it requires taking a damage boost, but the setup is pretty difficult. Let's see if I get it. Okay, so you have to make sure you make it up this cycle. That might be good. No, it's too slow. So I just aborted. I was just afraid that the bat might not hit me in time. This is a task strat that was made humanly possible with some setups that were found by a Japanese runner named Fanage, and basically you want to take damage right before the elevating platforms crush you, and that will actually send you into the wall and save you at least 10 seconds. But fortunately I wasn't able to show it to you there, but I'm sure if you watch any of the high-level runners of this game, you've seen it quite a few times.
But this is actually a really tricky boss fight. It's nice, especially you can see how effective the crosses are. They just stacking on top of the boss hits. This is also one of the rare instances. Nice. Okay, where you're able to grab the orb before it falls.
So the orb, yeah, it's very odd that the orb spawns all the way up there. But if you time it just right, these elevating platforms on the left and the right, you can jump off at the very top and collect them.
You need a little bit of luck with well, not really luck. I guess if you kill the boss very, very consistently at the exact same time, you can expect it.
Yeah.
Yeah, those platforms need to be in the right spot. This is an annoying level. This has got RNG enemies. You know, most of the enemies in the game are set in their positions, but these harpies that carry around the flea men, they're very random. Sometimes you could never see them at all. Sometimes they spawn very repeatedly. And if you let them drop the flea men, they can wreak some havoc pretty quickly. But other than that, 5-1, or all of Act 5 is pretty easy. Not a whole lot of risk. Yeah, the harpy at the last possible moment. Always happens. Good damage we set up. So, yeah. So most of the time, because you get free health refills at the end of beating stages, and there's meat scattered throughout the game that are usually along the way, you want to take damage boosts as often as possible. And since you only have a finite amount of health, you can only select a finite number of damage boosts to do. So you typically want to prioritize damage boosts that are high in the air, so you get that air time. You only have that high speed from the boost if you're in the air, so Justin had an awesome setup on that bat to get a big boost.
So this is probably one of the lengthiest stages in the game, stage 6, and there's a lot of different parts to it. Coming up is this very just precarious looking section with these chandeliers that takes a lot of effort to optimize.
Yeah, it's possible to. There's a particular set of cycles you can beat this on. That's the fastest possible, and it's yeah, it's pretty nasty. And any death here sends you to the very beginning of 6-1,
Yikes!
just like that.
Yeah. So, yeah, we all have like sort of different setups with how we make our jumps on the chandeliers. But as you can see, it sends me all the way back here, and I don't have my cross, and
Ooh, oh,
yeah,
oh yeah, no, you didn't have anything, so you might as well.
yeah, it's all good. So,
Rare extra sub weapon there. You guys get to see.
yeah. It's really odd that whenever there's two axes on the screen, one of them just randomly despawns. So we're just gonna take it safe here as I go through.
Yeah, this is a really common run killer for top level runners who want to go for the earliest cycle. But yeah, considering these other sub weapons, you see he has the holy water right now. A few of the bosses can be played more optimally with other sub weapons than the cross, but just the time it takes to collect the sub weapon and then power it up, and then switch back to the cross and power it up and get an multiplier, it just takes way too long. So it's just better to stay with the cross, which is just universally effective. Fortunately, there's a secret area here that can be used to both recollect the cross, get some health, and build up a multiplier. So the multiplier, it's on a you get the level 2 and the level 3 multiplier by kind of using a sub weapon against either candles or hitting enemies. And what is it? It's like 10
Yeah,
hits for each.
That's
and
right.
the next drop from the candle will be the multiplier, the level 2 or the level 3. So as you can see, building up your sub-weapon requires a lot of hearts and a lot of things to hit.
Okay, we're just gonna leave that one alive. There it is.
There you go.
So there's gonna be a lot of lag on the screen. Should be fine though.
Ectoplasm's still there. You might be bouncing up as you get the boost.
Okay. So there's the platforms there with the spikes on the bottom of them. They flip over each time you jump on them, and if you land on them, you just die. So make sure whatever you're jumping off of, you land on, not the spikes.
It's like a split second that you're allowed to stay on it before it flips over. And some kind of an annoying subtlety with hitting enemies with the cross. If an enemy is on top of a candle, the cross might not register damage against the enemy. It'll just break the candle. So that's kind of an important thing to remember in screens like this. You might want to throw extra crosses or just prepare them in such a way that a candle might not be in the way and block the damage. Also, something interesting is that a lot of the same enemies will appear throughout the game, but at about this point, all enemies gain an extra HP, 1 HP. Will take like an extra 1 hit to kill. So kind of an interesting increase in difficulty. And again, that coffin boost is really, really difficult. Just managing, delaying the enemies by hitting them a certain way to get a boost off of it. Because those coffins cause a huge amount of lag if you decide to destroy them. And there's some real RNG here with the ghost dancers. Are you familiar with like all the enemy names in this game?
Yeah, they're just called dancers.
Dancers, all right.
Make sure I grab that health for this incredibly hard boss fight.
Yeah, it's a quick and easy boss, but it can do a surprising amount of damage to you fast.
So that's stage 6. Usually, just as Doug said, a lot of runs will just die on that stage, just because of the demanding nature of the stage in general. This is stage 7. Stage 7 is, I would regard as one of the easier stages.
Yeah, it's pretty chill. It's got got kind of a nervous section in the book screen coming up next, but it's kind of a breather before stage 8. It's a nice scary jump onto those stairs.
Yeah. So there's a thing with the stairs where, I guess in that section right there with the axe armor where I jumped over it, if you can fall straight through those stairs if you don't jump far enough. So you just need to make sure that you hit the absolute edge of it.
So that's kind of a bit of a lucky setup there with the high axe to get a boost. Nice. So that's the scary part, the book jump, I guess.
A lot of people like to hold their breath for that section, but you know, I'm used to it.
Just dive right in.
But yeah, I guess the biggest thing about this stage is there are a lot of these axe armor enemies, and just need to make sure you have your cross throws on point.
Dealing 4 damage to multiple enemies, like without stopping, is kind of tough. This thing causes a huge amount of lag. That's the only one in the game, I think.
Yeah.
It's kind of there. It's a programming exercise or something.
Nice little carpet monster. Every haunted castle has one. And
And you just need to crouch at the right time, and pretty simple. This is a really tricky screen, I think. Not for just a fan, but it's got a lot of stuff. This guy control with his shield.
okay.
Not bad.
Yeah. So if sometimes that boss, if he brings up his shield, he'll actually regenerate health for every hit he takes. So it's just very random when it happens. So that was stage 7. That's sort of the calm before the storm.
I like how you can move around in this after the orb. That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stage 8 is just packed with really scary stuff. It's got a lot of really neat tricks and ways to save time, but a lot of things in these screens are sort of on a global timer, like the movement of some spiky platforms that do instantly kill you if you touch them. The acid in the ground will just do regular damage, so and that can be used to sort of damage boost, but touching at the bottom of those spikes or that platform, while not invincible, will kill you. Nice setup. Okay, so that's a really scary boost, but it saves a huge amount of time. That screen is just so packed with enemies. And that was the 1-frame jump. It's really... This is really bizarre. I don't know why they did this, but yeah, your jump height is always the same, unless you press the button for 1 frame, and then it's slightly lower. And if you did the high jump, you would have gotten killed by that spiky block, so it's... You need to do a 1-frame jump to save time. It's crazy.
Yeah, this is as crazy as all those, you know, strats seem. This is pretty much the point that Castlevania 4 has reached with its speedrun. You have to do all of these things to save time because it's just so optimized.
And that stair jump right there is incredibly hard, in my opinion. It's you just need to press up and right at like the exact right time as you pass the first set of stairs.
So I'm gonna go for setup here. We're not gonna go for it. So the thing is, I wanted to just risk it all on this bridge, and it's very random. But there's right before that section, before you get to the bridge, there are these spikes that come out at you.
You can see the whip cross in action here as you just kind of takes off the Frankenstein's monster's flasks.
So as I was saying, the spikes, when they come down, it's sort of just it can be very random when they retract. And there was one that was lingering just a little bit longer, so I just waited a little bit. And that makes it a little bit harder to do the damage boost onto the Vegas bridge, as we like to call it.
It's a really scary bridge. It's not consistent. A lot of new players die there, a lot of veterans die there, people playing it the first time die there. And yeah, those spikes are instant kill.
So this is another very long stage, stage 9.
Scrooge McDuck's fault. Close
Yeah.
to the front of the stairs.
So these disappearing platforms with the gold can cause like a lot of lag. If you do it just right, you can actually just cause the platforms not to explode at all if you jump on the exact frame that you land. But it's very difficult.
Nice. Okay, those skeletons are really scary.
Ooh, okay, that's fine. You can actually, it's faster to swing across using the rings, but not too bad. And just as you see, I'm just abusing the stairs to take damage and walk through those enemies without getting knocked back. I'm going to attempt a trick on this next screen. Right there.
Oh, okay, that's pixel perfect right there. Touching those spikes does instantly kill you.
There was a setup found by, oh, okay.
Oh no, okay.
Okay, so this is very bad.
Yeah, these little holes in the background are kind of strange. Once they start to suck in, you can't move or jump.
But yeah, the setup for that spike jump, as we call it, was found by a fairly new runner by the name of Tucat, who's incredible at this game. So, but this whole section, right there, right here, I'm doing a despawn strat. There's supposed to be a bone dragon right where I just landed, and again, I just kept some of those enemies alive. Guy's a troll. Okay.
So this boss is really,
It's very technical.
yeah, it's what, 23 hits? And afterwards he changes forms into 3 smaller bats. And it must be done in such a way that he always charges at a certain time, and you want him to change forms right then so that they're at perfect cross range, and that was an excellent play. Nice. It's 23 hits?
22 hits.
22 hits.
22nd hit, he will split apart into those small 3 bats. What we're trying to do there is manipulate the height in which he breaks apart. You want him to be about jump height, like right there. And what happens is those 3 small bats will hover around that height, which is perfect for throwing your cross at the peak of your jump. So stage A is actually a very short stage. Well, it's short to me, but it requires a lot of incredibly precise tricks in a row.
Yeah, jumping over those bone dragons is actually really hard, but it's quite easy. And yeah, just so much lag in attacking some of these enemies while the giant cogs are on screen.
Yeah, this was very early in the Super Nintendo lifespan, so a lot of the elements on the screen, the sprites, just cause a lot of lag. So
They went out of their way to make like some technically impressive stuff, but it still lags. Like show off the system. And the movement on those cogs is really awkward. That's nice.
yeah, that requires damage boost that I just did. Oop, okay, so just take some damage there. Make sure I don't get hit by that.
And also this boss is one of the enemies that takes a huge amount of crosses to defeat, so it's important that you stack up a lot of extra hearts. Okay, nice. That's the first ring section. You want to make sure you can get the earliest cycle possible on those rings, just because it takes so long for the next ones to appear. There you go. But doing it with enemies on screen is really frustrating, or really scary.
So we have about 20 hearts, which is what I want to take on this boss. And we have a pretty good spawn, so right there. Ooh, I was a little bit too close. Let's see if I can still get him. I'm not getting the cross. Okay, there we go.
Several whip crosses, so... Yeah, that's a one-cycle mummy. That's relatively hard to do on that side of the screen. If the mummy appears on the left side, it's pretty much free. But the mummy does like to troll, and that costs a lot of time with nothing you can do about it, really. stage A. Moving on to stage B, which is the final stage of the game. It's just a short platforming section and then a long boss rush. So we'll need a lot of hearts to handle all the bosses in this, so Justin's going to go out of his way to pick up as much as he can. And yeah, it's pretty obvious to see how badly laggy this bridge is and all the bats. It is worth it to even slow down slightly to take out the bats.
So everyone remembers this section of the game, those who have played it.
Yeah, since these stairs crumble away, if you drop from any of these stairs, you're pretty much dead. You have a limited time to make it through this section before the like spiky ring at the bottom of the screen just comes up and slices you up. So yeah, if you fall down here, you just have to suicide, sadly. And it's really just, it really requires mastery of the stair mechanics. Like, we can't really emphasize how like awkward it is walking on stairs sometimes. Very nice ring punch. Saves like a second.
Yeah,
right?
just a little bit of time. It's for swag.
And these platforms are somewhat repeatable in their position and pattern, but it's really important to kind of identify what jumps you can make and how you might need to change your position a little bit. Also, JD's really going to want to make it to this boss with as much health as possible.
Okay.
Very nice. Okay. So having your cross for these bosses is extremely important, especially this guy, Slagra. The hardest boss in the game. Like, the most demanding boss. For both new players, for speedrunners, it's extremely precise. He can, when he switches phases here, it becomes very difficult to dodge his attack. And because as soon as he gets hit, because he leaves the screen, this is...
There we go. Pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty
right
good.
after he changed phases, like, he had so little HP. Like, that was a great, like, phase transition. But just making it through that boss alive is such a nice feeling with your sub-weapon.
Yeah, this boss is
His
pretty
brother-
much a joke.
His brother, Gaibon, you might recognize these guys from Symphony of the Night, is just it's nothing compared to the previous boss.
Yeah, this is a pretty cool section of the game, especially if you speedrun it, because it's just like these 4 bosses in a row.
The
you
boss
have to
fights all have really interesting setups too to kill them fast. It's fun to do. There's death.
So this is intentional. I want that last cross right there to be with them. Come on. 1, 2, 3. No, just a little bit too early. I want that last cross to go along with death as he moves to the right, so that it deals extra damage to him. So, and what I was trying to attempt there at the end was just a jump. That's from the test that you can just do with an audio cue. Fortunately, I was just a little bit too soon for the jump. So I have about 27 hearts, which is pretty good. I want at least 20 for this final boss. This is a pretty interesting section. These phases where Dracula throws the flames, it can be sort of random, and you have to be very, you have to be very precise with how you deal with these flames that are coming at you. Because if you don't deal with it correctly, they can be very annoying because they home in on you. A couple of bad spawns. You don't want Dracula to spawn in the corner. But yeah, nothing to it. So with one death, I'm going to guess this is maybe a 36 on the timer. I'll let Deusler leave me in suspense. So That's time. 3508. Hey, I'll
Nice,
take
great
it.
run. The death on the chandeliers too.
Yeah, so that death will cost me about, a minute and plus. So could have been a high 33, not that death. But thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and that's probably one of the hardest hardest Castlevania speedruns. So if you like what you see, please follow the two runners that are going to be at AGDQ. Their names are Joe D'Amelio and Furious Paul. Furious Paul is the world record holder, and this guy is a machine. Both of these guys are machines. So keep watching Castlevania 4, guys. Thank you.